Hello, this is Casey Christ, the tutor coordinator here with Athletic Academic Services at Vickery Hall. This training video is going to walk you through all of the steps that you need to do to put your availability into Grades First for the fall semester so that we can assign your tutoring appointments for this upcoming fall. A couple of things that I want to note is that this is a new process for us, and it really requires you to pay close attention to this training video to make sure that you're putting these things in correctly and that you're being careful and thorough when you add dates to your calendar. So please pay close attention as we walk through the video. Contact me with any questions that you have, because this is going to be a really important step in assigning fall tutoring. So here you are on your home screen for Grades First. When you log in, it'll say Tutor Home, and you'll see up here in the right corner there's a drop-down menu that has all the available semesters for the past couple of years. It's very important that you are selecting Fall 2016. Please make sure that when you log in, it is set to Fall 2016. A couple of things I want to point out before we get to the calendar are here under Tutor Settings. When you click into that, you're going to see a box that says Tutoring Times Available. We have gone in and input this as a function to allow us to see what subject areas you can tutor. So you'll see those here on the right. If you click Edit, that brings you to the Modify Availability box. I would really ask that you don't mess with this too much. This is just really our way of putting in the subject matters that you're able to do. This is not where you are going to be putting in your availability. So the only thing that I ask you use this for is to just go in and double check the courses that are listed that you can tutor. If you notice there's something there that you're not able to tutor, or there's something missing, please email me that information. We pulled these courses from your university transcript that you had made an A or B in order to be able to tutor. So please contact me separately rather than editing these by crossing them out or adding courses. We just ask that you email me with those changes if you notice something here that doesn't seem right. So you'll see that when you first log in. The other tab you'll see is this calendar function. This is really just a view function, but that is one of the open tabs. Where we are going to be inputting your availability is over here to the left in the calendar function. So when I click on that, you'll see that it opens up an expanded version of the calendar. So typically what you will see on here are just your tutoring appointments in green. That's what is normally on your calendar. What you're going to be doing are adding the other conflicts that you have that are times where you would not be available to tutor. So prior to starting this process, it's really important that you know your course schedule, your work schedule, any other major conflicts that you have on a weekly basis. Make sure that you've pulled all that information together before you start inputting your availability, because that's going to be really important as you put these dates in, that you know what your consistent schedule is going to be. So once you've gotten those things together and you come here to the left tab, My Calendar function, the first step you're going to do is to add calendar event. So I'm going to click on that. When you do that, it's going to bring up the schedule appointment screen. So a couple of things you're going to want to fix to start with is that the automatic set for a general appointment is 10 minutes. I would recommend changing that to 30-minute blocks, just because that makes it a little easier. You could also go all the way to a full hour block, depending on what your schedule is going to look like. You'll see this is starting with July 11th. You're going to want to navigate to the first week of classes, because that's where we'll start tutoring. So I would recommend that you start your availability with the 17th, Wednesday the 17th. We won't do any tutoring before that date, so that is where I would start. If you click on that week, you'll see that it brings up the entire week over here to the right. So you're going to have to make probably multiple appointments as you're doing this. So for example, let's say that Tammy Tutor has a class on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. So I'm going to put in here as my reason, class. So depending on what that reason is, if it's class, if it's work, if it's a lab, you can change that reason right here into class. Location, you don't have to choose anything there. You can just leave that blank. Go ahead and click send an email reminder. Otherwise, every time you have that class, you're going to get a grades first reminder. This is a very important step. Under reminders, unclick email and text. Neither one of these should be clicked. Now, as you go up to the top, you'll see that you're the only person attending this. That should stay that way. So remember, I said this class is from 8 to 10 on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I am going to put this block of time on my calendar as my class. Excuse me. When you select those dates, let's say that this is a weekly class. This happens every single week. You're going to click that and put, excuse me, down here on the bottom, repeat until the last date of the semester. So you can take that generally like through the 23rd. That's fine if that's the date that it will be set as. When I save appointment, you'll see that it's going to put these on my calendar. So I'm going to navigate to August, and there in blue is class. So what this allows us to do is when we go to schedule a tutoring appointment, this will show up as a conflict on your calendar, as a time where you are not able to tutor, and that really helps us. So, I've put that one class in. Let's say that I want to add another class that I have on Tuesday, Thursdays at 10 a.m. Again, I'm going to make sure that I've set this time interval to be something different than 10 minutes. No need to choose a location. Want to navigate to the first week of classes here in August, and you'll already see that other class has popped up as a conflict. Remember the important step of I don't want to send an email reminder. And then this class on Tuesday, Thursdays, let's say it's from noon to 2. So I'm going to block those times out. Scroll to the bottom. This is a repeating class. I have this all semester. I'm going to scroll over to December, save that appointment. And then again, we'll want to navigate to August, and you'll see there's a conflict that is coming up for both of those. So essentially think of this as your own kind of Google Calendar that's in Grades First. So this allows us to see when you're available. I want you to think holistically about all the conflicts that you have. So if you're in a student organization that meets regularly on Monday evenings and you cannot tutor during that time, please put that. Sundays, again, remember we're open on Sundays during the fall, so you're going to want to make sure that you're accounting for those. When we go to schedule an appointment, if there is no conflict there, if there's nothing that you have put in during that time, we are going to assume that you are available. So any time that you need to block off here, whether that be academic, extracurricular, work, needs to be in this calendar. So you might want to, you can title those differently. You could say student involvement meeting or, work. You don't have to provide specific details, but that makes sure that it blocks that off on the calendar. You may find that later in the semester, let's say you only have a course that meets for, or work, let's say you're only going to work for the first 2 weeks of the school year. So I'm gonna get myself to that first week in August. And you have work on Sunday evenings just for those first couple of weeks. So when I want to go to select that 3 to 5 slot, and you'll see that it'll have show availability. You can also just unclick all times so that way it'll allow you to select those. Let's say you work 3 to 7. Then you can select that, and if it only repeats weekly until September 1st, then you can choose that and save that appointment. So that way, you know, if later in the semester we have an additional tutoring request, I can see that you're available after those first couple of weeks in the evenings. Okay? Pretty simple. You can also look at it in a list view. So it kind of depends on how you want to view the calendar. But we need you to complete these for every conflict that you would potentially have. And this puts so when you have your tutoring appointments, everything will all be in one place and you'll be able to see that. And then you can go back to your home screen and you'll also see those in your upcoming appointments. If you have any trouble with this process, any questions, if it seems too confusing for you, please contact me or respond to my email. But this is a general walkthrough of exactly what you need to do to put these dates into your calendar. Thank you for following along, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.